Udamak no sinsi ato minanaman. Dian opisangot sa tutatang ato hahayong mamihakalong kami tayo ni kakalayan. Ukamanay tutiti ato mamalooday to sa kalisawan na hikiyo. Isa ka siwa no siwa at sabang. No alimika aswar.
This threatening of nuclear war from Russia has been for a long time.
Yes,
Right.
And they have never tried to slim it down or deny it or say it's fake news up to now.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, man. I don't dare to think about what good is coming next, but this really makes us feel a little better.
Yes, Master.
For sure.
More hope for poor Ukraine and more hope for the whole world peace.
Yes.
It's still maybe possible. World peace and world vegan. Vegan and peace offer us paradise happiness here on earth and hereafter. Meat eating and war destroy everything, including our lives here, and make us suffer hereafter. How can any of us humans be so proud and boastful about what kind of weapons we have just invented in order to threaten other neighbor countries, especially the smaller, weaker ones? This is really so low level.
Yes,
Master.
And how can we not rely on God, on the mighty power, instead of such small little toys, actually, compared to heaven's power? Because even if an atom bomb can kill many hundreds of thousands of people, or maybe even millions, so what? Those little, tiny, we need things that we don't even see, like COVID-19 viruses, do the same.
Yes, that's right.
And we don't even see them. And we could not even control them yet, despite all the vaccines and booster. All kinds of companies use a lot of money to research, to invent, so much time and so much money even, and still cannot control it.
Yes, Master.
More than 2,000 people are in hospital tonight with COVID-19 as the state battles the latest Omicron wave. And there's a new wild card. A subvariant dubbed Centaurus has reached Australia.
Surging infections and people in hospital. This is Australia's third Omicron wave, fuelled this time by the rapid spread of variants BA4 and 5. But a new unwanted guest has arrived on our shores, a subvariant called BA275, originating from India and now spread to 15 countries, including Australia, with at least 7 cases identified in New South Wales.
We see more and more people that they are, even with 2 vaccines, even talking about Pfizer, they can be infected, and also they can transmit the disease.
Here in New York, hospitalizations are up 70% from last month, and many of the new cases are reinfections. Doctors are now warning you could get reinfected with the COVID variant every month because natural immunity wanes so quickly.
The problem with all the added mutations that the BA5 has, on top of what was BA1 and 2 and 2.12.1, it has more mutations, which basically makes it an escape artist. That is, our immune system doesn't recognize it like we did the previous versions of the virus. And that's why some people who have had BA1 in January, February, are getting BA5 here in July. So this reinfection is a very significant signature of immune escape. It's the most reinfections we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic because it's the most immune escape of any variant.
and don't even know what the enemy looks like even, except, of course, from the laboratory photos.
Yes.
So how can we not believe that God exists, that a fair and just God, heaven, exists?
Understand.
Because we are punished for all the bad sins that we have done and still continue to do. And how can we be proud of an atom bomb?
We can't be.
Nothing compared to this invisible virus.
Yes, Master.
And now we have even 14% of the world who have contracted Lyme disease, and even since time, I don't know when already.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
And it may have returned now.
A new study out this morning published in the BMJ Global Health Journal reveals that more than 14% of people worldwide have or have had Lyme disease, which you can get from ticks. Over the last 20 years, researchers found the numbers have been going up.
Or maybe we didn't know that so many people contracted it, and now monkeypox.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
Yes, Master.
Pressure is building on the federal government to declare the monkeypox outbreak a public health emergency. According to the Centers for Disease Control, there are now more than 5,100 cases in 47 states nationwide. This week, the World Health Organization declared a global health emergency as cases worldwide surged to more than 22,000.
New York is now the second major city after San Francisco to declare a health emergency over the monkeypox virus. It comes as nearly 1,300 people test positive for the virus across the 5 boroughs, and the city's health department says there are likely more cases that haven't yet been diagnosed.
And these enemies, we can't even bomb them. Excuse me. Huh? Sorry about that. Such a big atom bomb cannot do anything to this virus.
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
And they are more awakened in many places because climate change is thawing much of the permafrost. And all these viruses, the bacteria that have been frozen in there will come out.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Master.
Incredibly, bacteria unknown to science has been discovered.
Interestingly, we also found that the bacteria in this ice wedge that had been frozen for 26,000 years came back alive again, started to reproduce when it was brought to room temperature.
You were able to regenerate bacteria from 26,000 years ago.
Yeah, and so it lets you know how viable life can be in these extreme environments, right?
So you're discovering new bacteria that humans have never known before.
That's right.
We know that permafrost in the Arctic holds huge amounts of microorganisms, of bacteria, of viruses, of anthropogenic, nuclear, chemical waste, heavy metals, etc. And these are components that are stored locked in within the ice, and now the thawing happens in a top-down direction. So that means we continued warming. First, we have recently deposited components being released, and as the warming continues, the thawing continues, the increasingly older components become released and re-enter environmental fluxes into systems. We know that such microorganisms are extremely adapted to extreme conditions. They have viabilities of more than 1 million of years. We know that bacteria in permafrost have antibiotic resistance. And we also found viruses in permafrost in the Arctic region that can affect human health, like pox, like anthrax, like different influenza viruses. Very little is known about mutations, about how they will interact with current viruses, etc.
It's not just COVID-19 that we should worry about. And still not humble enough to ask for forgiveness from God and try to U-turn, be more benevolent to all fellow humans as well as the co-inhabitant animal people.
Yes,
Yes, Master.
that's right.
What do you think? How do you feel about it? On the subject of all these men's toys, mass destructive weapons, and even chemical warfare, germ warfare, using germs to kill others, as if we don't have enough germs already.
Yes,
Yes, Master.
Yes.
How can people not wake up? How can they not wake up thinking about this? They just have to think about this.
Yes,
Yes, Master.
Go to the root of all the problems. We are punished any time, any day already. So why do we have to make life more miserable, more suffering?
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
We are punished enough by heaven already. So just wake up, turn around, be true human, a humane human, then we will have no problem anymore. Truly, this earth can be paradise for us.
Yes, Master.
Things will change. Once we turn around to our true God nature, our compassionate heart, then all the nature will change to our favor. Everything will be abundant again, and we'll be safe and sound and healthy and happy.
Understand.
It's very simple. Well, I ask people to think about it. These so-called invisible things, even if we didn't have the microscope, we would never know what hit us. We would never know what this COVID-19 virus or chicken pox or monkeypox looks like.
True.
We would never be able to know our enemies. Those are our enemies. So we should think of the way to save ourselves.
Yes, Master.
Not destroying everything and killing each other still. This is terrible. This is too backward, too uncivilized, too savage.
Yes.
Even animals, people are not like that. And we all look down upon animals. People say, oh, they're wild beasts. They're just animals. They're just beasts. They don't do this kind of stuff.
Only humans.
Only humans want to make mass destruction and think of all the ways, spend all the money, waste all the precious time just to invent a more deadly one so that you can boast to the whole world about this destructive and killing machine.
Yes,
Master.
Oh, man. We should feel ashamed. We are endowed with all intelligence and brain power and hands and feet that we can touch everything, grab everything, and invent many things. And still we are nothing as deadly as the virus, which we don't even see.
Yes,
Master.
That's right.
And still boasting about weapons. Oh, all this crazy man. Please, God, wake them all up, please. Please, really help us to wake up. I'm doing my best, and you have to do the rest. Dear Almighty God. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Master.
If bereft of compassion and wisdom, you eat meat, you have turned your back on liberation. Shakar Sadrok Rangdro, vegetarian.